And that's when I discovered that phrase is not really okay in India. And we're live.
You are now listening to Radio Rufus.
Yes. Hello, you cracking chaps and chapettes, and welcome back to another chapping episode of Radio Rufus. That's right. The banter is so explosive and violent, it's like extreme weather will chap your lips. Your lips get chapped just by listening to this podcast.
You're going to get frostbite on your foreskin.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll have a natural circumcision. No need for the old Thai ripoff.
Yeah, not
classic.
well.
Which didn't happen to me ever. We're back with the latest and greatest from around the world in news, sports, games. It's your traditional radio show, but with a vintage twist, because we are like foreskins slowly freezing in a blizzard in outer Mongolia, in the frozen tundra of the furthest reaches of the historic Qingdao Empire of our vintage 60s studio.
Well said.
And we are the eloquent debonair Rufus Rice of Radio Rufus, and of course my rough and ready producer Aidan. Say hello to the people. Aidan.
Hello.
This week we've got a special guest for you as well. We're adding a touch of wisdom, maturity, old age to the mix. Sorry, Robbie. It's Robbie Knox, YouTube legend.
Hello.
Former runner at Capital Studios.
Knowledge.
YouTube giant.
Some research.
You've published such YouTube classics as I went to a Hungarian sausage festival.
Yep.
And I ate the country's official best sausage. Lots of sausage.
Quite sausage heavy.
Sausage heavy.
Yep.
You're just beer and red meat mostly.
I'm a man who knows what he likes, and it's sausage.
Your channel. Co-host of Jack Mate's Happy Hour, of course, where you see you'd seen Robbie before. I have to say, you're a bit of a self-indulgent guest, because I basically just want to talk to you about skiing.
Okay, wonderful. That's literally all I tried to do. Happy Hour. No one's interested.
This man,
set this one out.
is he's so working class. He doesn't even want to entertain the idea of going skiing.
I would like to someday. It's just I'm not in the right tax bracket right now.
Go to Bulgaria.
Is that the cheap ski?
It's quite cheap. I've been there, yeah.
How much are we
Some
talking?
working class people there. When I went, it's a few years ago. In fact, you can see the video of my show. I think for me and two kids, it was just over $1,000. Like grand.
That's about £900 above my budget.
Yeah, but you don't have kids.
You have to bring kids with you. Right, so
Good point.
Bin off your girlfriend as well. It'd be super.
for a week.
Just go solo.
That's including your food.
Yeah, true. Maybe I'll go skiing in the summer.
If you do it, yeah,
Wait till all the snow melts.
great plan.
Yeah. Be cheaper.
Yeah.
If you do a ski and a fast at the same time, you'll save so much money on food as well.
When is like the best ski season?
Usually the winter.
Yeah.
Just a specific month though.
Just December through to sort of mid-April.
Right. Okay.
But it does depend. I mean, you can ski on the 4th of July in Colorado in some places.
Go to Australia, you can ski in July all the time.
Yeah,
Water
because it
ski?
is winter.
Yeah.
Winter.
Winter's the only rule, really.
Winter is what you're looking for. Mostly. But I have vehemently defended the point on this show that I think skiing is a very accessible sport.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a working class dream, and you would love the Folie Douce. I think it's not a place that's just full of absolute twats.
That's the fucking sequel to the first Joker film, is it not?
Folie Douce.
I'm pretty sure it actually is.
Yeah. No, it's a chain of sort of on-mountain bars that are just full of the highest number of wankers per square meter.
And then they have a special VIP bit at the top if you want another level of
Yeah. I thought I experienced that going into Pret with Rufus earlier, but that sounds even worse.
He is so working right. He won't go to Pret, and I think it's just
It's just principle.
yeah, it's just principle.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with Pret itself.
Yeah, even if it was £2 cheaper than a Tesco meal deal, it's like I just get imposter syndrome entering the walls.
Yeah. If Pret is too much, then probably not skiing.
It is
even skiing in Bulgaria. Is like,
It is interesting the point you raise about the people in Folie Douce. It's like when people accuse me of being posh because I'm posher than them. But when they see real posh people, like within posh people, there are gradations.
yeah. There is.
Like
Yeah.
in Folie Douce wankers, there are sort of levels of.
Do they
wanker.
look down on you?
Yeah. No, so the people in the VIP section are like the mega wankers. They're looking down on the ordinary wankers.
Have you met people so posh they can't speak?
Yeah.
Like, there's like, I did some work once. I was filming just some freelance stuff. It was for like So we ran a family office, or no, they did something to do with family offices. Like, so wealthy families, I didn't know this, wealthy families have their own office where they have like a lawyer and they do their investments and all that sort of stuff. Like that. And one guy that I met there, he just couldn't speak. He was, the way he was, there was nothing wrong with him.
Well, it's just generational inbreeding, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
There probably is a lot of things wrong with him, actually.
Yeah. I might have got this wrong. Now I think back, he might have actually just been severely disabled and I feel bad.
But yeah, am I right in thinking you did a gap year in Whistler in about 1998?
Yeah, I did. 98, 99 season.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I've seen that video because I've been to Whistler many, many times.
Yeah, it's a great place.
And it's changed so drastically over the years. I'm quite interested in what it was like in that time before I was born.
So I went... When were you born? What year?
2002.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, we're in before then. Yeah, so I went back for the last time... I don't mean ever, I might go back again. But the most recent time I went was 2019. And there's this guy called Guitar Doug who was there when I was there. And he's in a band called the Hair Farmers.
Big fans of the Hair Farmers.
Okay.
See him at Merlin's.
So Doug, when I went there, Doug was solo. It was before he got together with his other hair farmer.
That's a great band name, the Hair Farmers.
Yeah.
They've got a lot. You'd fit in nicely if you grew it out because you're a hairy guy.
Yeah.
That is true.
They're
Yeah.
long, hairy guys.
Can I get in just from back hair? Or does it need to be...
Yeah. I'm sure they've both got some back hair between them.
Yeah.
These two. But I saw Doug then. I said, hey, Doug, I lived here 20 years ago and we used to come and see you when you were on your own sort of thing. He goes, let's get a beer. So we had a beer, we were chatting, and I was saying, he's going, those were crazy times. I was going, it's kind of the same. It's not changed that much. He goes, camera phones fucked it. I was like,
so he's because that was that.
Yeah.
I can't remember a time without camera.
Yeah.
phones,
So like, I didn't have when I went to Whistler, I'd never had a mobile phone.
Yeah.
I didn't know. The only person I knew who had a mobile phone was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
But everyone else didn't. And but he said, do you not remember Naked Limbo? And you'd be out in bars and they'd have like a ski and there'd be like girls topless, like doing limbo under this ski. So I was going, oh yeah.
Right.
And my boss, this guy called Willie, who is like a Hawaiian dude who could be anything between
Willie the Hawaiian.
45 and 90.
Right.
It's really hard to age.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely older than me.
Well, you know what they say, Hawaiian don't crack.
Yeah, exactly.
the
They
phrase.
do say that. And his life was amazing. He'd ski in the winter in Whistler and he would go to Hawaii and surf in the summers. And that's pretty much what he's ever done. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook now, but you see it and he's like at Burning Man with like 20-year-old girls and stuff like that. He's got a mad life. And he was like my authority figure. He was the manager of the restaurant Rendezvous that I worked in Whistler.
You worked in the Rendezvous.
I worked in the Rendezvous.
Yeah.
Cleaning tables. So I was there.
It's gone all woke now. They started selling ramen and stuff.
Have they? Oh.
Yeah. It used to
disgusting.
just be chips.
Yeah, chips. Okay, there was a salad bar, but I went there.
Yeah, come on.
But I remember one day I was being at Merlin's at the bottom of Blackcomb Mountain, which is where we used to go. I remember just being in there with a friend drinking, and Willie walked past. And this is the guy. I was the only person I was away from home to look up to. He was the guy I should be like. This guy is the person I should be aspiring to be. And he was dressed just on a midweek night as Tina Turner from Simply the Best. a dress, full on makeup, big wig, and all this sort of stuff. All right, Will, are you Tina Turner? He went, yeah. I went, any reason? He went, just fancied it. I went, all right, cool. And I stayed there chatting to my friend a couple of hours. Then later on, he walked through Merlin's, still with a wig on and all the makeup, but completely naked.
Yeah.
Like, completely naked. And I'm just thinking there. And I got quite upset. I was thinking, I've got no chance because this guy is the person I should be looking up to. And
Yeah.
and this. So,
He's your role model.
so the answer is it's pretty similar, but it had more nudity then.
Yeah. So camera phone sort of limited the amount of
'cause
debauchery.
someone's going to ruin it, aren't they? They're going to go,
Yeah.
and,
Well, so we've
pigs
had
away now.
we've had a place there for going on 15 years now. I think that the real change for me was when I was young there, the classic years. I'm talking, 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
Those classic years. It was all Brits. So many Brits
Yeah.
would go there on Easter holiday, and there were so many Brits in sort of ski school and everything. And that was great. But now the demographics have really shifted because it no longer represents any kind of value for money
no.
at all. It used to be cheap
Yeah.
to go to Canada. And now, Aidan, so how much do you think it would cost to rent skis for a week?
I'm only now aware that this place is in Canada, by the way. I was wondering the whole
yeah,
time.
It's where when the Winter Olympics was in Vancouver, that's where the skiing was.
Right, okay. I would say about $3,000.
Okay, well that makes my
To
point.
rent some skis.
That makes my point look really shit. 'Cause
Sorry. How expensive do you think skiing is? That just to hire you don't even buy your own.
it's so it's about 1,000 Canadian dollars, but because you said 3,000, now it looks like chump change.
I was lowballing as well.
You were low. What are you?
Nah, I probably would have said 300 or 400 quid, in all honesty. So it's $1,000 for a set of skis for how long?
A week.
It's madness. I looked,
And you've got to give them back.
Can you not bring your own, or is that more
You
expensive?
can, but then you've got to buy some skis and transport them.
Is it dear to transport them?
Well, you got to book. You've got to book that oversized luggage.
Yeah.
sometimes Air Canada a few years ago were doing it for free. But
Oh, shit.
but you got to look into it.
If you were buying the same set of skis you'd be renting for $1,000, how much would they be to own them?
You can get a pair of skis for $1,000. So it's probably the same price to rent them for a week than to buy them.
Actually own them?
Yeah. Whereas if you go to France now, I paid €130 to rent skis for a week.
Yeah.
It's so much.
Yeah.
It doesn't represent. So it used to be Brits because it used to be value for money, but now it's very much just Chinese and Arab people.
Yeah.
But the thing is they don't want to ski.
Yeah. You get a lot of people coming up who've got the Epic. This is so boring for your listeners, but who've bought the Epic Pass
I'm
thing.
so in on this.
I know. This is my dream. This is what I'm trying to do at every podcast, and no one's interested.
Well,
in
the Epic Pass is really where the culture went downhill.
Yeah, so what the Epic Pass is for this, I'm just trying at some point to involve the listeners in some way. Someone needs to. The Epic Pass is a pass that you can buy, and it's quite cheap if you buy it relatively. That gives you unlimited skiing for the year across loads of different resorts
About
owned
40
by the
resorts.
company Vail.
Yeah.
Which is good if you live in the mountains or near the mountains because you can go to all the time. But they've put the day prices really high for resorts now.
Yeah,
So
I think it's about $300 a day if you want to go skiing.
to just walk up. Yeah.
To just for the pass.
But it also means on busy times you get loads of people just coming up because they've got unlimited skiing.
Yeah.
So it's busy and expensive.
Yeah. So it's really gone downhill.
Were you getting a lot of skiing freebies because of your parents linked to the...
Well, back in the day when freebies were still a thing, we used to get a stretch limo from the airport to take us up there. They don't do that anymore.
No.
Yeah, it's mental.
Back in the day, it was free hotels, free ski school for everyone.
I've worked out a way to get free skiing now. I do press trips.
Yeah.
So I did one last week.
Where'd you go?
I went to Samoa, which I think is how it's pronounced. I was calling Samoans for
Samoa.
ages. Samoa. I thought it was called Samoans. Same place as Flame, that sort of area.
Yeah, my parents were in Flen this weekend.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that was last week.
You're so happy. So happy there's something to discuss.
Okay, so I was there last weekend, and then, not the weekend gone, the one before, and then I went to New York with my wife for a week, and I took one day to go up skiing there.
Oh, nice.
Somewhere out outside
perfect.
New York.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Loving this. This is so good.
We've got to move on to some questions that other people are going to care about, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll try and turn them around to skiing.
You know how, because we all do, obviously I met you on that Shannon Langdon shoot. We all do the same job, really, but you're a senior figure in the space.
Yeah. I love that the different ways people say old.
Yeah.
Wise.
Wise. Yeah. But do you think, because a lot of people would say making YouTube videos is sort of a young man's game, and you've got kids, you've got much more perspective on life than everybody else. So do you find interacting with us is how do you find that?
I find it nice. I like it. I'm aware that I could look weird. If something, I did, for example, I'm good friends with Bambino Becky. I know she's been on here, listen to that. We started chatting online. I don't think we ever met, and then she said we should do something together. Because I was doing a series, a walking series, where I go for a walk, basically, with people and do that.
Yeah.
I would never have messaged her as a now 47-year-old man. I'd gone, hey, you don't know me. Do you want to go for a walk in the woods? Yeah. It's not a good look. So you've got to approach things slightly differently than I imagine you do. But it's nice that people, because you could easily go, who's that weird bloke?
Yeah.
You're kind of
people say that to you?
No, but that could be the vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You're kind of like the YouTube Yoda.
Yeah.
You look a lot like him today, actually.
Yeah. I'm the only YouTuber over 40 who hasn't said something horrific yet. Actually, Mark Goldbridge must be over 40.
He has some horrific football takes.
Yeah. Okay, but I don't think I've not said anything too rank. That's
actually something I wanted to ask about, because obviously you came from traditional media with TV, and so what years was it you worked in Soccer AM?
2000 to 2007.
Do you find that there's a big change, especially back then, and seeing some of the stuff that was aired in Soccer AM, regardless of whether you still find it funny or not, compared to nowadays, and translating from TV to YouTube and sort of staying on the right side of history with it? Yeah,
I think things do change. Yeah. And also words that you use change. I remember seeing the comedian Robbie Knox, and he did this thing called Bad Book Club, where we would read books. He'd get books from charity shops and read them out. It was really good. But he read a I'm just trying to think whether the editors bleep this or not. I don't know. You can make that decision.
They won't.
Okay, fine. He got a book. There's a Cliff Richard autobiography,
Right.
And it was written in a sort of diary, where he went to a home for people with mental health issues, but in it he's using the word all the time, which at the time was the correct word, but it reads horrifically now.
Now looking back on it,
so there's some bits that just the language has changed. Some things of what's acceptable has changed.
Yeah,
on the topic of Cliff Richard, first thing I would do if I was president of Wimbledon Tennis Club is bar him from ever getting in there.
Yeah,
he's always hanging about.
Yeah,
Cliff Richard. He's so small as well.
I feel a bit sorry for him because
really
because he got when there was all the Me Too stuff was going on, everyone's going, take Cliff. He hadn't done anything. I was like, go on, Cliff might have him as well.
One time they had a break in the tennis and he just started singing.
I remember, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's the last thing I wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think things do change, and there were things at the time that I was like, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, but like you going from sort of being in the scene and being a creative, whether it's writing scripts, editing, producing, and going from TV to YouTube is a lot different to like the likes of Rufus. That from you started, even though you sometimes ignore the line, you've known where it's at, but you've kind of constantly had to figure it out.
Yeah, I suppose so. But I was a lot more, tame's the word, a lot less rude, unhappy. When I first started, I wasn't. The first time I went on, I wasn't swearing, I wasn't doing anything at all like that.
For the kids.
I was for the kids because I was there because I was sort of thinking, okay, from TV you can't do that sort of thing, and then eventually, I'll just call Stevie White paedophile for like 2 hours a week. So it's fine. Yeah,
those might have been the first ever actual interviewee questions on this podcast.
Yeah, usually we don't ask the guests.
No, I know. I've listened. I've listened to a few. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get into our first segment then. Not news. And a top Chinese basketball player has been suspended from his team after accusations came out that he had smuggled his girlfriend into the team dormitories in a suitcase.
Oh, yeah.
Zheng Xingliang, 20 years old, is a professional baller for the Guangzhou Lung Lions. He's also one of China's tallest men, 5'8". And mate, I reckon, like, in China, I'm a tall guy. Like, when you go there, I'm looking over everybody's head. I'm an Asian large. If you buy any T-shirt, you're not looking in the mediums in Asia.
I'm like a triple XL, I think.
Well, you're a triple XL here.
My friend Helena, when I was after uni, she went to go and work in Japan, but she wasn't in, like, Tokyo. She was, like, teaching English, I think, but she was in, like, a smaller city.
Yeah.
But because she was, like, about 6 foot tall and a white woman, she became like a celebrity purely on that. Yeah. So she went to the news, she went to the zoo, and the news just turned up.
Was she visiting or an exhibit?
She just,
They've locked her in.
Just decided to go out for a day, and then like about half an hour later, the news turned up and went, Helena went to the zoo today. Stuff like that.
They have to keep tabs on her just in case she starts terrorising the villages.
Yeah, so team management said he violated the rules by secreting his girlfriend, described in the papers, unfortunately, as a struggling art student. That's a direct quote from the paper.
Yeah, if someone's locked in a suitcase, you shouldn't describe them as struggling without.
Yeah, that's very true.
Away to his dorm. Well, I think the Chinese attitude to the art subjects, everyone who takes them is a struggling student, I think.
Yeah.
So away to his dorm, where she then said on social media that she studied English all night. That was what she said they did, which... knowing China, she probably did.
Yeah.
She's probably underselling how much studying she actually did.
She tried to deny it straight away, but unfortunately there was a little bit of visual proof that they found the girl in the suitcase.
God. That's amazing.
When you hear about women being smuggled in suitcases, this is not usually how it goes.
Well, it sounded like she very much wanted to get in there.
Yeah.
And then basically how it got blown out of proportion was the fans of the team blamed this guy's poor performance on the fact that he'd smuggled his girlfriend in a suitcase into the dormitories.
Imagine if you had a great game, though.
Yeah.
Carte blanche. You should bring your girlfriend.
Also, it does say something about the professional scene, because this guy's 20 years old, like he's not a kid.
Yeah.
And he's in a dorm, like sort of like boarding school or something like that.
Yeah. I don't care how he performed in the games. I want to know how his girlfriend got on in the exams.
Yeah.
That's the real news. Now, I knew a different girl who went to teach in China, and she was teaching Air Force pilots English. Like, so there was these Chinese guys were learning how to be Air Force pilots, but she was doing the English element of it. And she said they weren't allowed to have girlfriends or anything like that. They weren't, if they held hands, they were in trouble. They said it was so strict, it was mental. They do their bit for a few years in China, and then they go to Australia to learn a bit of the flying stuff or something like that.
That must be an eye-opener going to Australia
Yeah,
for the first
but they'd all given themselves like English names. But she said half of them were called Beckham. There's a few years back. Half of them were called Beckham. But then some of them would
What,
have
as a first name? Like, Chinese guy coming up to you and say, hey, mate, I'm
Yeah,
Beckham.
they just pick a name like randomly at some point in their life that they'd seen. They wouldn't necessarily know what it means. Like, there was one kid called Petrol, but she said there was one. But she said there was one kid in their class called Sex, and she had to go to him. Look, you can't be called Sex. And he was upset because it had been his name like in school all these years. She said, look, if you go to Australia and you meet someone in the bar and you go, my name's Sex, they're going to beat you up.
Yeah.
Like you can't do this.
We did used to have Cheeky Charlie the Korean at my school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This was so strict here that if they were late once,
Right.
they got put back a year.
No, that's ridiculous.
She said, but it wasn't like you got told to come back in a year. They'd have to sit at the back of the class for a year till it came around. So one kid came in late once and was like crying, like because his family have like saved up to send him from his village up to this thing, done all this. He's been like crying. She goes, I just won't mention anything. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But she said like if they got in trouble, they'd have to sit at the back of a class for a year till the year came back round again, and then they'd join in.
Fucking hell.
Mate, I have to say, if they put in those punishments at some UK schools, that we would do better as a country.
That's
Like
true.
what hope have we got? If that's their rules.
Yeah, well, I spoke to an Olympic diver, and one of the questions I asked, I met him at a party, and one of the questions I asked him, like, are you ever going to beat those Chinese guys? He's like, well, here's the thing, like, if they don't perfect the dive, they go off stage, they don't show it on the TV, but they go round back in the changing rooms and they just get slapped up. So we've got no chance against that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
So it's brutal method, but it really gets results.
it does. You got to look. You got how much do you want it? Yeah,
How much do you want to win those Olympics?
yeah.
Right, let's move on to our next story. And it's a bad week to be a 53-year-old French woman who fell victim to fraudsters using AI-generated videos and deepfakes of Brad Pitt to impersonate the famous actor, ultimately scamming her out of... How much money do you think they got?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's 830,000 euros.
Quite a lot in
It
it.
is quite a lot.
Fuck me.
The woman identified as Anne, who was a middle-aged interior designer, believed she was romantically involved with Brad Pitt online. She divorced her husband and sent all the proceeds from the divorce settlement to the scammers impersonating the star. Have to say, boomer media literacy at an all-time low, because these are a selection of the images they use.
They're incredible.
How can you believe
It's not even
that?
convincing AI. It's
It
ridiculous.
doesn't look anything like it's real.
I love this, but also I'm not the most. I've got a bit of confidence about me,
Yeah.
but how
Brad
full
Pitt.
of yourself you got to be going.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt decided
To
I
leave
am
your
the
husband
one.
as well.
Yeah. Well, everyone's gonna look. My husband's gonna look a right dick if he finds out with Brad Pitt.
As you can tell, for the listener, these are sort of badly photoshopped pictures of Brad Pitt on hospital patients' faces. Basically, they claimed that he had a life-threatening illness, and that's why he
Yeah.
needed all this money. Which I feel like you could have gone on any news anywhere and probably
Yeah.
seen definitive proof that Brad Pitt's okay.
Yeah, and he probably has his own money.
Go to the cinema.
Yeah, probably has his own money to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no sympathy for this one. I feel like if you're just a mug if there's...
I think what
You'd have
got
lost the
was
money
coming.
anyway. You'd have bought the Hawk Tour coin or something
yeah,
instead
exactly.
if you hadn't
Yeah.
lost it to Brad Pitt.
So she only realised she'd been scammed when she found news online about Brad Pitt's real-life girlfriend. She subsequently filed a complaint with authorities, fraud stuff, and then she set up a GoFundMe to cover her legal expenses, which is the least worthy cause.
That is
Yeah.
ridiculous. I'd sooner send
Mate,
the
I'd-
scammer a tenner.
That's
So, well done.
I don't know what you're doing, but I respect it.
mate. It's hungry children or this woman's legal costs. It's up to you to decide.
Maybe they get paid more than I thought, but what fucking graphics designer has 800 odd grand in the
Well,
back
she got
pocket?
it was the divorce money.
Ah, so she
It's a
must
lot
have.
of it.
But did she not just divorce him to get with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It started like this. It began in February 2023 when she created an Instagram account to post photos from her ski trip in the Alps. So you were probably there.
Probably
Probably
there.
in
Yeah, yeah, there in the background.
Soon after, she was contacted by a woman impersonating Brad Pitt's mum. And then the woman told her, "My son needs a woman like you." And then
A lot of people involved, aren't there?
after that, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts here. It's quite an impressive operation. Thereafter, a man claiming to be Brad Pitt messaged her, initiating sort of regular contact. The victim said, "It's Brad Pitt we're talking about." I was stunned. At first, I thought it was fake. I mean, yeah. But I couldn't make sense of what was happening. Well, yeah, we communicated daily and became friends.
Like the scammers, they've got, because it's not just one guy doing this on his own. They've obviously got a team of here.
Yeah.
Like if you said to you, like, "I've got a real idea how we should spend our time. I reckon we could persuade some woman in France to give us 800 grand if she thinks of Brad Pitt." You'd go, "No, that's not going to work."
Is that how you're affording all the skiing, Robbie?
I had a funny situation once where I started talking to a scammer. But it was only because of an enormous coincidence that I thought it was real.
Yeah.
So basically, a scammer impersonating a porn star reached out to me, and as soon as I clocked it, I was like, it was immediately obvious. But I did send a few messages back and forth because I'd started dating. Not started dating. I'd met and started chatting to on another platform a girl with the exact same name the day before.
Shit, that's weird.
Oh, right. So was that part of the scam? Did they know that this had happened?
I don't know how they would have known that.
Yeah, that's so
But
strange.
like, I thought it was her adding me on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then messaging me.
Mm.
And then I clocked in. I was like, "Oh, no girl would ever say that."
That's a strange coincidence.
So you could only be a few messages away from Brad
What I'm
Pitt
saying,
again.
I was on the precipice of being Brad Pitt.
You understand how this
Yeah.
works. Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't be so judgmental.
It was such an enormous coincidence that they had the same name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very weird one.
How thick do you have to be that, like, of all people, you think Brad Pitt needs a lend of a tenner?
Yeah.
Also, it's obviously fake.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can possibly look at that and go, "Well, yeah, that's clearly him."
Wait until she hears about all the horny DILFs in her area.
She's one of those people who clicks on those
She'll be
games.
foaming at the mouth.
Yeah. So she admitted to being inexperienced with social media. I mean, no shit. She requested proof of the man's identity. So she received like images of his passport, messages from other people vouching for him. Basically, it's like when
George Clooney here.
Yeah. So when your mate goes, "Nah, trust me, he's sound. Like, he's a good bloke." They always end up being one of the biggest wankers you've ever met.
Yeah.
And AI generated photos and videos. Over the next 18 months, she frequently chatted with the impersonator, exchanging poems, romantic messages. So they've got to have some sort of wordsmith in the back,
Yeah.
crafting these messages on a daily
Absolute
basis.
poet.
Yeah. They've kidnapped Wordsworth and chained him up in the basement.
What do you reckon's the most, like, illiterate thing you have done in media? Whether it's almost getting scammed, maybe signing up for something dodgy.
Ooh.
I think I've just shared my story, so I think
Yeah.
you...
I had a bank conversation that went on for slightly longer, like as in a scammer type person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't give anything away, but I was thinking, is this real or not?
Yeah. Whenever I was like maybe 9 or 10, it was whenever we first got like a PC in the house. It was in the middle of the hallway under the stairs, and I got one of those pop-up ads, and it was whenever I first discovered tits. So I was sort of curious about it. So I clicked in.
You said that like you like discovered them, but nobody else knew about them. Was the way you sort of, like I discovered.
Lads, you're not going to believe what I've found.
Whenever I first
Like
realised
you were
what
the
they were.
first person to find them.
But anyway, it asked for an email address, and I still didn't know exactly what it was, but I put in my mum's email address because it was the only one I knew.
Yeah.
And she came back like 2 hours later and was like, "Aidan, is this you trying to log into this website?" And I was like, "Nope, not me at all." And then she showed me the username, and it was like the exact same as my PlayStation username.
Oh, so you baited yourself out.
Yeah.
So one day the fake Brad Pitt proposed to her and confessed she was very close to saying yes. The impersonator sent her messages about gifts he purchased for her. However, he claimed that his accounts were frozen due to an ongoing legal battle with Angelina Jolie, and requested $9,000 to pay customs fees for the gifts, which never showed up. Then he fabricated a story about being hospitalized with kidney cancer, saying he needed $60,000 for treatment. Then the victim transferred this amount to a random Turkish bank account. And ultimately, she lost £775,000 in divorce money, and even sold her own furniture to raise more money to send.
Oh. The victim's friends, if they're watching a film with Angelina Jolie on, they go, "I really like her." You don't know what I know about her. She's horrible.
Yeah. After losing everything, she moved in with a friend and launched an online fundraising campaign to cover the legal costs. So
You know how much money she's got?
I don't know. I couldn't even find the campaign.
If anyone's paid a penny towards that, they need their head examined.
Chuck a few in.
We used to do this thing. Well, I went to sort of alternative education in Indonesia for a couple of years.
What does that mean?
Well, it was the sort of place where mud wrestling was first period on Friday.
To me,
wow.
it sounded like somewhere like they herded up all the goths and taught them how to read.
Hippies.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
Teaching the hippies.
It was a
to
hippie
read.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, and like the only instruments in music class were marimba.
Don't know what that is.
It's like a sort of big wooden African xylophone.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Can you still play it now?
oh,
If you had one here, would you be banging out the hits?
mate, it's basically a sort of really annoying glockenspiel kind of thing.
I think glockenspiels are quite annoying.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty high bar as well. Yeah. So I went to one of those. What were we talking about?
I have no idea.
Hang on. Brad Pitt, scams, discovering tits like a Christopher Columbus of boobies. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm really struggling as well. That alternative education is not paying off.
Yeah.
Um,
You recorded 2 episodes today, and is this the second one?
this is the second one.
Yeah, so you're
we're-
flagging.
We're having
Yeah,
troubles.
fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
I'll do my best to carry it.
It's like me after my intensive semaphore course. It's flagging.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Over to African news now, where a drunk police officer in Zambia freed 13 suspects from custody so they could go and celebrate New Year's Eve with him.
Aw.
Good
yeah.
policing, I think.
Sorry?
It's good policing.
Do you think everyone should get a day off prison?
Yeah, it's like, you know how you get non-uniform days at school and everyone was really
Mufti.
excited about it?
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Mufti. Mufti day.
I've heard that, but I've
That's-
never used it myself. Yeah.
I agree, it's not a great phrase, but
It
that's
sounds sexual to me.
MUFTI. Mufti.
Yeah.
Right,
I've heard the
okay.
phrase. Yeah.
I promise you that's what it's called.
Yeah, I believe you, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want to do it on the wrong day because then you come in and everyone calls you a wanker. That is
Such a risk, yeah.
that is one. It's almost as bad as like going to a nightclub or going to a pub with a backpack. Like it's number one or a losing move.
Yeah.
Is turning up on the wrong day in your own clothes.
It
Yeah,
was
but
such a...
equally, if you turn up on Mufti Day in your school uniform,
Yeah,
that's horrific.
I would say that's worse.
Yeah.
I remember that happened to my brother one time and he rang home sick to get out of school because of the amount of shit he was getting just for wearing a uniform.
Oh.
I was in charge of the awards at our junior prom, and I rigged all the voting. So I could make some jokes. We had this guy called Jack Tam. Shout out to him. He got best dressed because he used to wear his uniform on the weekends as well.
Nice.
I don't really know why. I think he was a sort of Einstein. He was a genius, I think.
Yeah.
It was sort of an Einstein method of wearing the same clothes every day so you never have to think about it.
That's quite clever, yeah. Didn't Zuckerberg do that?
He does.
The same
Black
t-shirt.
t-shirt.
He had a whiff.
Yeah.
He was sort of the Singaporean Zuckerberg. He had a whiff of the Zucker.
So does Ricky Gervais, I think. It's the same blue jeans, black t-shirt every day of the week.
Is it? Bernie Ecclestone, obviously classic. Looking like a little elf in that white shirt and black cap
was-
every Grand Prix.
It was like a classic way to take the piss out of your friends whenever you would all like try and convince one of them that it was a non-uniform day the next day. And they come in the next day and everyone else is...
At my wedding, I've got my friend Gavin, who was my best friend growing up. Then he moved to Northern Ireland when we were 18 with his family. Nice. And I invited him to my wedding. But when I messaged him saying I'm getting married, he said, "Oh, great. Are you doing anything special for it?" That's a weird question. It's my wedding. So, yeah, that is quite
Nah, nothing on really. I think we're just going to have a chill one.
Well, I replied as a joke. I said, "Yeah, it's going to be fancy dress." Not thinking he'd take it seriously. And he replied saying, "Cool, I'll come as Chewbacca." So I thought,
You thought he
this
was
is actually
joking.
I thought this is actually working. So I printed up when I sent out the wedding invite. I printed out a separate one for him. Sent it, our wedding was quite relaxed anyway. I sent it to him saying fancy dress. I just sent on the wedding invite to everyone else. It said, "By the way, if you know Gavin Phillips, don't tell him he thinks it's fancy dress. Don't tell him."
Such an
That's
extra
great.
bit of admin.
Everything worked out perfectly because he'd come over from Northern Ireland, so he wouldn't have had anything changed into. He wasn't staying at the hotel as us, he was staying with his brothers. He didn't have any stuff to get changed into. It was all perfect. I just remember beforehand just hearing some laughter. Just when we were in the bar before I walked around, and he turned up and he was wearing a green pimp costume. I'll show you the photo.
Are you wearing it today?
I'm not, but it was this sort of vibe. It was. Let me just. show you this because
I'm going to be honest, Robbie. I'm slightly disappointed he wasn't Chewbacca.
Yeah,
I know. He said he bought the Chewbacca costume, but it was too expensive, so he returned it. But then
Wait,
coming in,
hang on. So the thing he already bought. No, that's great. To be fair,
look at that. But yeah,
you've dressed up as Archie from Balamory there.
yeah.
It's a pretty niche
I
joke.
kind of wanted him to come in with like the Chewbacca crossbow as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, Detective Inspector Titus Pirrie, great name,
Really good.
was arrested after releasing the suspects from Leonard Chilo police station.
Leonard Cheeto.
I misread that. In the capital, Lusaka. The 13 detainees were accused of crimes such as assault, robbery, and burglary. They're all still on the run, so they haven't apprehended any of them.
They're all
Did they promise to come back? Had he released them for good?
He
he
basically just got pissed at the office New Year's party or whatever.
Yeah.
And thought it would be a laugh if he just let everybody out.
Oh, I thought he'd taken them out to the pub with him.
No.
I thought it was like, I need something to go out with.
No, he literally just...
They're relatively low-level crimes, though. Like, it's not as if he was releasing murder.
Oh, yeah, assault, robbery, and burglary. They're not low-level crimes.
Compared to a murderer or a rapist or a paedophile.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean.
It's
You
not
don't know
like
what type of assault it was, though.
True. That's a good point.
He basically said, you can leave now. Was it...
Imagine that, you're in prison.
Yeah.
You can leave now.
Well, I think he was like, well, it's the new year, so you sort of served your time, guys, so feel free. And 13 people escaped, and then he has fled from the scene himself.
You said there was 15 people in the cell.
15 people, so 2 people stuck around. Incredibly good morals. from prison.
Squares.
Is that they're regretting their choices now?
Yeah.
In an act of enormous irony, he was then captured and detained in the police station
Oh.
before any of the suspects he freed were found.
And what's that? Is he out? Yeah, now is he still in
No, he
there?
faces criminal charges for releasing prisoners.
Yeah, I suppose you can't do that, can you?
It's very much a crime.
Just trying to act of kindness on New Year's Eve and it backfired on him.
Yeah, being a good Samaritan.
Yeah.
People just punch you in the face. When trying to help out your fellow man. We're now going to move on to our sports segment, Snatch of the Day, coming at you now. And we return to the weird and wonderful world of alternative sports, which is celebrating an enormous milestone this year as the 20th anniversary of the World Egg Throwing Championships looms large in the social calendars of the wealthy and the elite. Held in the rural Lincolnshire village of Swatton, the event was founded in 2005 and has seen competitors from all around the world go head-to-head, with New Zealand coming out victorious in the inaugural competition.
So people have come over from... They must already live here. They kind of come over from New Zealand to compete.
That's pretty rough if you've founded a local event so you can finally win something for once in your life, and New Zealand come over and win it in the first year.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
They also hold the world record, which they set in 2016, the New Zealand team. So they're kind of powerhouse. I guess it's a bit like sailing or something.
A couple of years' time, the Chinese will be there getting slapped if they throw their egg back.
93.6 meters. So how it works is it's basically that game where you throw in a tennis ball to each other and take a step back every time you catch it. How far can you go?
Oh.
So it's duos throwing an egg between back and forth, but you've got to throw it in a certain way so it doesn't
Can't
break
smash.
the egg when you catch it.
Yeah.
So
That's
there's
awesome,
an
yeah.
added element of difficulty there. But 93 meters
Are you allowed to move side to side for the catching? You must be able to.
must be, right?
Yeah, it couldn't be that accurate to just land in your hand.
Otherwise, it'd be impossible.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Wow.
They're known as tossers, each of the players. So each heat seems the tossers throw an egg to the catchers. So they're specialised positions as well.
I think I'd want to be a catcher
But you
regardless of how shit my hands are. I just don't want to be referred to as a tosser.
You want to be a catcher in all walks of life, though.
So do you not? They don't swap. They don't have to do both.
Yeah, I thought it was like
No,
catch it.
I
throw
thought
it
you
back.
catch it. If you're the catcher, then you become the tosser.
Yeah, I would have thought that as well, but I guess in elite sport the roles are so specialised.
Yeah.
It's like you can't have an opening bowler go out and open
The days of all rounders are
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
They're probably thinking it's ridiculous us even questioning that.
You know, when we made fun of the NFL for just having a specialised kicker,
Yeah.
whereas you should just have one of the team be kicking, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have one tosser and one catcher per team. So. The 5 pairs that successfully throw the egg the furthest without smashing it go through to the grand final, which is, of course, one of the crown jewels in the sporting calendar.
Can I ask a question about American football?
Yeah.
The kicker.
Yeah.
There's obviously the punting,
Punter.
and there's the kicking it through the posts.
Yeah.
Is that the same guy or is that
No.
two different guys?
There's a punter and a kicker. So there's 53 people on a roster.
Yeah.
So, but only 11 people on the pitch at a time.
Yeah.
So basically everyone is a specialized role. There's even when they snap the ball back to the quarterback.
Yeah.
There's a specialized long snapper for when they're doing a kick or a punt where he's standing further back.
That's all you do?
He's the long snapper.
So all you do is just throw the ball a bit further than the other guy?
But a bit further than the ordinary centre.
Can't the long snapper just throw it less?
Yeah, you
know what I
would have thought so. Yeah,
Just take a bit off.
Well, I always think that about golf. Like, why do you need so many clubs? Can't you just hit the other one a bit less?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why do you
Yeah.
need 25 clubs?
Yeah.
Because if it was up to me, that's another problem I have with. I've got problems with golf.
I've got problems with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's good we're on the same page. It's like, I don't think you should be allowed to have the other bloke to carry the stuff for you. I think you should be allowed to. You have to work it out yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, why is it one of the sports you have to be quiet for? Why can't you make a noise when someone's playing golf? Oh, golf and tennis. It's like,
Yeah.
oh no, you got to be silent. Oh, he made a noise. Whereas in
You think
football,
there should
they're
be?
like,
You think there should be
man's a
heckling
paedophile.
in golf?
It'd be much better if people are calling Tiger Woods a nonce when he's trying to.
I would sooner tune into the likes of that.
Rory, paedophile. you would like that.
Great, yeah. Tennis as well. Wimbledon,
Yeah.
it's like shh. Also, and then someone will cough or something, and the guy will be like, hands up to the line judge. Oh, what's going on?
If that's really affecting you that much at that level,
You're not
probably
good
should
enough.
be- yeah.
Darts players, they're doing it pissed.
Yeah.
And-
what do you
and-
think about snooker? Because everyone's so serious when they're
Yeah.
playing snooker.
I think
But
if it's a game that can be played in a pub, you don't need silence for it.
Yeah.
Snooker players would massively disagree with that.
Helen Chamberlain, who I used to work with at Soccer AM.
Yeah, we were going to ask, one of the questions we were cooking up is she as big of a MILF in real life as she is on the show? But that was on the cutting room floor.
For later. Well, whenever you're ready for that. What I was
it up.
going to say, though, was her rule is it's not a sport if you can do it in your normal shoes.
That's not a bad rule.
Right, but I feel like
Like
sports,
darts, snooker, you can do it in your normal shoes.
but they don't though. They do wear sort of wanky snooker shoes.
You could.
That's my thing with golf. Like, do you have to dress like an absolute wanker to be good at it?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good. You don't have to wear the special trousers.
I don't really have a problem with the sport of golf.
Yeah, it's the culture.
It's everything around it,
Yeah.
And the fact it consumes the lives of people.
Yeah.
They don't talk about anything else. It's a bit like skiing, really.
Yeah,
But except
yeah.
skiing's really fun.
The only thing more boring people talk about is their fantasy football teams,
Yeah.
which is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because there's only two stories. It's like I put in someone and they did badly, or I took someone out and they did well. Those
Yeah,
are the
right.
only two stories.
Yeah.
Well, here's a lovely quote from World Egg Throwing Federation President Andy Dunlop. It might not be javelin, but it is considered an extreme sport. I don't consider it.
Why the comparison to javelin though?
Well, there's
like
a
no
lot
one
of
was.
javelin chatting.
Is javelin considered an extreme sport?
No. It's not like javelin where you've just got a guy throwing a pointed stick down a field.
This guy's not been allowed to do javelin at school.
he's got beef
and now
with
he's
javelin.
obsessed with javelin. He's trying to make a better sport. It's not like shit. It's like javelin.
It's not like javelin where you've just got a guy throwing a pointed stick down a field. This, you've got to throw the egg over an ever-increasing distance, and you've got to catch it at the far end without breaking the egg. Nobody in javelin throwing tries. Sorry.
He really fucking hits
Nobody
us.
in this is the quote. Nobody in javelin throwing tries to catch the javelin.
He had a girl who left him for a javelin player, and he's fuming. Javelin player, is that the word?
What are you talking about, Andy? This is the president of the sport. Yeah.
Whenever I think, like we'll often cover stories like this of the most niche sports like cheese rolling and stuff.
Yeah.
Do the champions of these sports are they seen as like rock stars from the fans?
The fans is a huge assumption.
Yeah, but they draw a crowd every time.
The fan.
That
Yeah.
night, it's got to be the best. If you're in the pub that night,
Yeah.
it would be like up to you. Yeah.
Like are they signing fucking tits and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. That's the time you got to make your move from the woman from the post office, isn't it? Ed? So you've been like up all year.
Local chat.
Yeah, the woman at the deli counter.
The 2024 event saw British three-time world champions Joe Wilson and Brad Greenwood retain their crown with a distance of just over 50 metres. I'm trying to work out if that's impressive, throwing an egg 50 metres and catching it.
I'm very bad at throwing,
Right.
so I couldn't do.
I can't throw an egg 50 metres, but I'm also not an elite athlete like these guys. So, yeah. Brad explained the key to success to Poland Daily for some reason.
How big is this tournament?
Yeah.
So people from Poland must be taking part.
It's all about egg selection. If you get an egg that's too round, you can't use it. You need the pointy ones. And the small and compact ones, they're more solid. You need a nice looping throw, and the catcher has to have soft hands.
I've only ever seen one shape of egg.
Yeah, I didn't realise they came in different formats.
It's famously called egg-shaped.
Yeah, that is the shape. Yeah. So apparently, it's a little bit like conkers. You've got to look for a nice one. Yeah. As well as egg throwing, the fun day also plays host to a series of other egg-themed events, including the World Russian Egg Roulette Championship, where there are 6 eggs, but only one is raw.
And what do you do with them?
I guess
Eat or throw?
You get it thrown at you or something.
That's better to have the raw one. The other one, you get hit in the head by a hard egg.
I don't really know what the rules are. I feel like Russian roulette falls flat when the stakes aren't very high.
Yeah.
If you know, we were briefly considering, we throw around ideas for games, and we thought strip Russian roulette would be one of the best.
Okay.
It's like normal ones, but you just take your clothes off if you survive.
Yeah. But the only thing worse than being found with like a dead woman in your house is being found naked with a dead woman in your house.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, it's not a great look.
Yeah.
I think there's so many games where, like, adding a strip element to them makes it hilarious. Like, we used to play... Oh, it sounds so weird now, but at uni, we used to play strip, rock, paper, scissors.
Right.
Whereas rock, paper, scissors fundamentally is an extremely boring game.
Yeah.
But you add a bit of jeopardy in with the stripping,
Yeah.
and suddenly it's amazing. It's really
sound
good
good,
fun.
yeah.
It's like gambling on anything. If you do immediately, there's way more interest in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Fine, no, nothing to add there. Carry on.
Oh, I just wondered if there were any games you'd like to sort of see a strip variant of.
Most of them, really. I can't think of a game that will be,
Made worse.
well, if it's an adult game,
Yeah.
we're talking, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm not
not
talking
like Kids Sports Day, much worse.
I wasn't suggesting the under 12s.
No, good, yeah. So assuming everyone are consenting adults, no, I think they're all fine, really.
What about Christmas? Strip charades at Christmas?
Yeah, skiing will be exciting, wouldn't it? I know we keep talking about that, but
Strip skiing?
Slalom. If you come in the bottom, you have to take a bit of clothing off. Eventually, you're skiing down naked.
I like that. Like what? Like every 5 gates or so.
Every 5 gates you have to take a bit of kit off. Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
behind the buzzer. Yeah.
Aidan, what about you? Any strip sports you'd like to see?
I think I'd like to see fencing, just because they're wearing too much shit.
Adds a bit of jeopardy, doesn't it? As well.
You're getting that needle through the chest.
And they're using a real sword as well. It's another.
Yeah.
It makes a lot more stakes whenever you're taking your body guard off.
What, taking an epee to the nutsack. Yeah.
And you can get double points by piercing someone there.
Right. Okay. Right now, I'd like to bring back a segment we haven't had in a while. A last minute addition to the script that I had. It's dispatches from Gran. So occasionally my Gran will write into the show.
Yeah.
She was alive in this era.
How old is she?
She's in her 70s.
She's my age. Yeah.
She actually got asked out on a date by George Harrison and turned him down.
Why did she turn him down?
Dating my granddad at the time.
All right. At least that's the story she's telling you.
Well, that's what we've heard. Turned him down for an engineer from East London. So no, she danced with him in a club in '63 apparently.
Wow.
And he was like,
best time as well, isn't it? Around then, yeah.
So she's fully aware. So sometimes she writes in telling us about the era, what it was like, and is
she the inspiration for this set? Or
I don't know.
Or in general, the vibe?
No, genuinely, it was what I said earlier, where I watched a couple of episodes of Mad Men. I was like, I'd like to pretend I live in the glory days of day drinking and smoking indoors and having a mistress in the city, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so that's sort of what the inspiration was. But this is a special Christmas message from my gran this time. So this is the Christmas card that
nice.
She wrote for me. Here's a special present for you, your very own original 60s something. Can't read that word because her writing is god awful. Waistcoat, basically, some kind of 60s waistcoat. It will keep you toasty in the studio if it's a bit parky. I have to say it's not a bit parky, Gran. It's one of the hottest rooms in the country. And you can always raffle it off. Well, we'll see about that.
Do you have many raffles?
No, none. But here it is. This is an authentic 60s waistcoat that my gran has knitted.
Yeah, probably for George.
So I'll just pop that on.
This is like something you see Harry Styles wearing.
Very fetching.
It's very... It's come round, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very fetching piece of attire here.
Yep.
It is a little bit small, especially over the suit.
great,
But apparently, this is authentic. Sort of people would wear this sort of
Era
stuff,
appropriate.
swinging 60s back in the day.
So was this hers from back in the day?
No, she's knitted this one
Ah.
to replicate those ones
Yeah.
like that back in the day. So I have to say, thank you very much, Gran. It's looking absolutely spiffing, I must
Wonderful,
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
She is completely deaf, so I have no idea how she listens to this show.
Can you watch it on YouTube?
I guess
You
so.
can get the subtitles, can't you? But they're normally wrong.
Yeah, they're normally completely wrong. I guess so. It confounds me how she gets the info.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's not listening to it on Spotify. Let's put it that way. But thank you, Gran. Eagerly await some more of your writings, and maybe we will raffle it off. Now we move on to Gamey Schumer, our games segment. Today we're bringing back a fan favourite. It's Rogue Categories. You've got a minute to try and name something in a category beginning with your letter. Let's roll a letter for Robbie Knox, who's going first.
Here we go.
H.
8.
60 seconds on the clock, 12 categories. Let's go.
Dictators. Hitler.
Yeah, perfect.
Disgraced politicians.
No
Hitler.
repeats,
Oh.
no repeats.
I don't know if many people have been.
Hitler's got a mate, I will say that.
Yeah, but I've just seen the next one down. I'll save it. Pass. Members of the Nazi Party. Himmler.
Perfect.
Porn stars.
That's hard.
Danny D.
Oh, yeah,
Oh no,
that
H.
starts with H.
I forgot the real game. H. I don't know. I don't watch enough. I don't know the names. Worst place to lose your virginity. Heaven, because you didn't manage it in life.
Yep.
Weird things to say at a funeral. Hello, sorry, I'm naked. Massacres.
That's really...
Does
Yeah.
count?
Yeah, I think that counts.
Kinks. Horse fucking.
Yeah.
Famous MILFs. Helen Mirren.
Oh, well, yeah. That's not the Helen I was...
Okay. Worst stag do destinations. Hell.
Not
I'm
bad.
out of time, I'm out of
Not
time.
a bad effort.
Sorry for going rogue about Danny D. I just couldn't think of any porn stars.
I think it'd be weirder if you answered that instantly.
Yeah. Around up 9.
Yeah. That's a good effort, though.
It is indeed.
I thought Helen Chamberlain. I thought that's who you were going to say for your colleague of 7 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
You ready?
I wasn't.
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Is it the same categories or different categories?
It's,
Same category,
So
similar.
you had a different letter.
we've had H. T. Here we go. Members of the Nazi Party. Oh, for fuck's sake. Is there one?
I don't know that many members.
Hess. Nah. I don't know. I'm going to skip that. Worst stag do destination Tenerife. Famous MILF. Oh my. You're a MILF guy. Like, I feel like you've got it on.
Think of
Loads.
anyone for that?
We'll come back to that. Kinks. Wow, I'm really bottling this. Skip that. Porn category, threesome. Disgraced politicians, Trump is pretty disgraced. Worst place to use your virginity, Tesco. Weird things to say at a funeral. Skip that. Massacre. There's a big one, is there?
Yeah.
Oh no, Tiananmen Square.
Yes.
Porn stars, Tiana Trump, things you shouldn't change during sex. It's tea time. Dictators. Last minute. Not
Was
bad.
that? I think was that 8 all?
Don't know, probably.
No, I think Robbie got 9.
I'm not
Oh.
sure. Did I?
Yeah.
You win this round.
Dictator. There's got to be one that begins with T, right? Tito. What's his name?
Don't really know much about history.
No, I was happy with Tiananmen Square.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah.
It was dictators and tea.
Oh, there doesn't seem to be any, is there?
No. Yeah, Tito. Joseph Tito.
Who's he?
Oh, I should have said him. Click on Tito. I can't really remember who he is either.
What is it?
Yeah, Yugoslavia. It's a Yugoslav guy. Ah, damn. That would have got me the draw there. But well played, Robbie.
Thank you. Good game. Good game.
win. Yeah, we love that game.
I really
We love
enjoy
that
it.
game.
Yeah.
It's always nice when someone pulls out an impressive answer. Like, what did you say for worst place to lose your virginity? Heaven. That was quite.
Yeah.
That's coming quite deep.
Quite beautiful, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
you didn't manage it in life, but
Yeah.
you got
It's
thank God. I don't know what I was saying there.
Right, let's move on to our last segment now. Questionable. This is our audience interaction segment where we asked you weird and interesting and an inspirational question, and you come back with similarly inspirational responses. We react to the best ones. This week we've asked you, once again, what is the weirdest thing you've done with your mate? Obviously inspired by Tom Garrett and his famous leaked video. He was the guest we had before.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of his career highlights is having a video of him wanking his mate off.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah. You've seen that
I knew
stuff.
the name,
Yeah.
and I've made the connection.
It's good that his reputation is more famous. That wanking video is more famous than his name, which is good.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Skyrocketed him.
Me and my mate took transcontinental trains all the way to Greece to ruin our other mate's holiday with his girlfriend. It was a bit weird of us on reflection, but we thought she was cheating and this would bring a swift end to the relationship.
But they just got on the train.
They sort of interrailed to Greece and then just turned up at the hotel.
Right, okay, fair, yeah.
But apparently it's weird on reflection, so I guess she wasn't cheating and it was just weird that they turned up to their couple's holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the...
You would be fuming.
You would be fuming, but I don't know what they thought was going to happen then.
Well, I think they thought they could break them up by ruining the holiday.
I think that's going to drive them closer together.
Well, yeah, there's clearly...
Yeah.
You think there's a bit of time to think while you're on the train to Greece, but I don't know. I tied my mate to a wheel and threw his own shit at him for a few days. I then framed him...
Days?
I then framed him for multiple race-related crimes in the Bradford area.
Wow.
Sometimes people write in with things of dubious authenticity.
Okay. Yeah.
But
We're hoping that's one of them.
yeah. We pretended to be Chinese so we could sneak into the world's second largest mosque with a tour group. We're Irish.
Okay. I think Irish people can still be Muslim.
Or have a look round a mosque.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
Apparently, I think it's in Syria, the world's second largest mosque.
Okay.
Which is, yeah. I don't know why you'd have to pretend to be Chinese, though. But yeah. After a night out, me and my mates reconvened in someone's garden shed as it had a dartboard. One lad was about to be sick, so he ran outside. We then locked the door as he stood there in only t-shirts and shorts. One of the other lads inside proceeded to rub his penis on the window in what can only be described as a display of masculine dominance.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
That's something that, like, I get accused of doing regularly on the show because I went to boarding school. There's a big narrative over here that my kind of banter is someone has to have their knob out in order for us to have any fun whatsoever.
Yeah. My guy Toby, I know, he would just get his knob out a lot, and he was quite sort of...
I've never got that.
Thing.
Would they compare... would he and his mates compare cocks to see who had the best colour? Because sometimes we would do that sort of thing.
He wouldn't do that. He would just do it. I remember we were skiing in Leger, and he was there, and he just got naked in the bar. Again, probably before camera phones. I do have photos if there must be some kind of camera. But he got naked in this bar, and then there was some girl who... It was January, it was off-season, there weren't many people around, and he went into the toilet to this girl, and then some guy turned up, who it turned out, I think, thought he was in a relationship with this girl. It was a bit complicated or something like that. Some guy turned up and she came out the toilet topless and Toby was completely naked. And this guy started having a go at him. They're arguing. And Toby went, "Mate, it's not what you think. It's not what it looks like." He said, "Like, of course it's what it looks like. You're naked."
Did he dig his way out of that?
They seemed to have an argument for a bit, but it didn't really cause us any problems.
Right.
Use that information what you will.
Toby, if you're out there, can I just say congratulations on that one. That's a great anecdote and you seem like a stand-up chap.
Yeah, you're welcome to come out with us and the boys.
Yeah, we would like to invite you to the Radio Rufus Bulgaria skiing holiday. I travelled to Paris. We travelled to Paris on the Eurostar at 7 a.m. at age 16 in order to meet two girls we previously met on a ski holiday. This was Toby writing in,
Probably.
Perhaps. They said no. They thought we'd been joking about coming to Paris, so we turned around and went home.
Aww.
Have to say, like, if that happened to me, if I'm those girls there, you got to at least invite them in for a cuppa, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's the least you can do.
Yeah, in that stage.
Yeah.
Would be weird if you met some people you meet people on holidays when you're a kid, and then you never see them again. I think that's the understood sort of mechanism.
That's such a teenage boy thing to do as well, isn't it? To be that horny that you're like, let's just go to Paris.
Yeah, there aren't
enough
enough girls around here in Macclesfield, mate. So let's go to Paris. Yeah. I think that's a bit rude and went home. It's like when I got really drunk once and then I missed the last train home. But I remembered that I'd got with a girl in a house just around the corner from where I was.
Yeah.
And I feel like the rule should be, if you get with someone, you got to at least put them on your sofa if they need some help.
Right. Yeah. That could be problematic. Think it both ways.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely problematic.
Yeah.
But basically I turned up, I was like, look, I'm really shafted here. I wasn't.
Yeah.
But they were just round the corner.
Yeah.
So I just turned up because it was a 2-minute walk from where I was. And they were like, we don't even really fucking know you, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but I have been here before, though.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, that's not really going to work for us, though, is it?
No.
Yeah. And that is totally fair enough. Looking back, it's massively embarrassing.
100% on their side.
Massively embarrassing moment for me, yeah.
One of my uncles had the same logic, and he was on a stag do somewhere in the south of Ireland, and the first night he got with some woman, went back to her house. The second night he was trying to find her house, accidentally let himself into the house next door and fell asleep on the sofa, and it was a fucking vicar's house. He woke up like 3 hours later.
At least the vicar's, it's not very Christian of him to turn you away, so...
Yeah, but he woke up with like the police hovering over him and stuff.
Oh, no.
They just thought he broke into the house.
Did it all end well?
Yeah, well, I don't think much came from it,
Yeah.
but
Did the vicar turn the other cheek?
vicars would usually be up for that.
Yeah, that's true. We put deep heat on our bollocks together. I've done that.
Deep heat on your ball bag.
Yeah, with not on each other's, like on our own ball bags, but at the same time, yeah, for a laugh.
For what? Just for a laugh?
Well, it really hurts. Same with toothpaste. A little bit of Colgate on the testicles, absolutely hilarious.
Does it?
Really stings. Yeah.
How did you discover that?
Well, they said
Word has spread.
if you know that episode of Top Gear where they cycle around London, Jeremy and James,
Yeah.
they mention it there, and we were just really interested after. Does it actually sort of sting? And yeah, it really hurts.
Does it have to be Colgate or is it just any toothpaste?
Aquafresh also works.
You know the ones with the little crystals in it. I think that's the best stuff because those crystals really get in the cracks, into the folds of the scrotum.
You're going to get the whitening one as well.
Yeah.
Is it the same feeling?
You'd end up with a scrotum like Bevo's teeth.
Yeah.
proper turkey sack. That one. Turkey todger.
Is it like the same as? Do you know that shower gel, the mint one, the green one? That
Original source.
Love that.
It's like that, but way worse. Because I think there's quite a pleasant tingle to the original.
I've got immune to it. When you first get your
Yeah.
first ever one, you're like, whoa, this is class.
It's like proper alcoholics can really. The drink doesn't change. That's just their normal state of being. I was like that with the.
Yeah,
Once you're having it for every shower, it's nothing to you.
Yeah.
The balls are impervious.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was 14, we went to a caravan holiday park in Norfolk. My condolences. That's a shit holiday. We walked along the beach and collected crabs crabs in a bucket. We pissed in the bucket before releasing the crabs.
Oh.
We wanted to see if the crabs could swim in the piss. I feel guilty about it every day. I know it's Jeffrey Dahmer level shit, but yeah, it's on my conscience.
Yeah.
It's quite an important moral lesson at the back end there.
It's good that they feel bad. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I guess so.
people make mistakes.
Yeah.
Not normally that specific one.
I kind of want to see the crabs swim in the piss, though.
Yeah.
Well, can they? I'm also interested in that. I'm not going to sort of act out some Stanford prison experiment on the crabs. But
I presume there's already water in there, and they've just
got to be a bit, right?
Piss.
Otherwise, the piss is only coming up to sort of
Yeah.
the middle of the crab.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's on its conscience. So, well, mate, look, I forgive you. It didn't happen to me. I'm not a crab, but I think that's fine. I think we all learn from our mistakes and we all move on, and I think that's absolutely okay.
It's not okay.
Oh, I actually do it again. I think it's hilarious.
It's forgivable, but
It's forgivable. Yeah, absolutely. And on that wondrous bit of moral wisdom, we're going to end the show there today. Thank you so much, Robbie.
Thank you for having
coming
me.
on.
I've had a lovely
it's been
time.
an absolute privilege, honour, and a pleasure to have a sage such as yourself.
Good. A new word.
Yeah. A new word for old. Sage. Fossil. Anyone?
That's just saying
Sage.
Really old. Yeah, sage will do. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not quite like my gran, for example, is sort of from the Triassic period.
Yeah. I think
You're not there yet.
The words people use tend to be words that sort of are nice ways of saying old. Fossil's not. Like,
If anything,
wise.
that's worse than just saying.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of a euphemism. It's just a straight insult.
Just a nasty dig.
Yeah. Just straight judgment.
Has there ever been a case where you've been at like a YouTube video or an event getting ready for it and someone's been like, oh, what are you doing here?
No, I don't think so. I'm like that with most people because I don't really know anything.
Yeah.
Well, you've got less grey hair than me, so like you're doing all right.
Yeah.
Look at Aidan. He's absolutely
You've got the darkest hair in this podcast, probably.
yeah. You've got
Thank you.
you actually are the least grey out of the three of us. That is
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, brilliant stuff.
Okay, well,
So that's some
boost.
That's,
That's something. That's something to take to the grave.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on,
Pleasure. I've had a really nice time. Thank you.
Robbie. I wish we could have had more skiing chat, but I did fear that nobody would give a shit.
I imagine the fact that you led with it means everyone switched off anyway. So
Well, I led with it because I think if you can stomach one bit of shit, then the rest of it is quite a nice surprise.
fair. Yeah.
So I was always a natural pessimist because either it exactly meets your expectations or it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a relentless optimist, you just repeatedly get let down by
makes sense.
things under-delivering.
Yeah.
And under-delivering is what we do on this show. Good. So, yeah. Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to grab the end of your ski pole and smash the subscribe button with it. And, of course, rate us 5 stars everywhere. And back to you in the studio.
Is there anything you'd want to shout out before we go, Robbie?
Oh, yeah, go on.
Well, like just literally shout.
What do you do?
What do I do?
What do you want people to see that you do?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah, your stuff,
They can work the internet. If they really care, they just put my name
Yeah,
in.
if you care, you Google it, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for watching. We'll be back again next week then.